Your Excellencies, dear guests, don't mind the slides behind me. It's going to be stationary there throughout my speech, but I just wanted to get rid of the ugly photo of myself that was there. As an international investor, developer, and operator of renewable energy projects and a member of the UN Global Compact, Arctic Green Energy follows the trends of global energy transition and industry development, particularly in geothermal, to gradually build a global portfolio of heating and cooling projects. Our portfolio now includes over 1,000 medium to deep geothermal wells, over 6,500 shallow wells, and 10 gigawatt thermal capacity. We are continuously expanding our project pipeline. We recently signed a trilateral agreement between Arctic Green, Sinopec Green, and King Abdullah University of Science and Technology for geothermal cooperation in Saudi Arabia. And during this conference, we signed an agreement with Synergion on geothermal development in Slovakia, based on already existing licensed concessions. It has been a pleasure to participate in the 5th Icelandic Geothermal Conference. As active members of the Iceland Renewable Energy Cluster, Arctic Green Energy is proudly sponsoring this event, meeting with experts and decision makers in the renewable energy and climate space, engaging in stimulating discussions, and experiencing the sincere commitment and drive from everyone in this room to bring geothermal to the front line of the energy transition. The structure of this event is an excellent reflection of the key objectives that we as a company witness in the daily operations of our 900 heating and cooling projects. Security and stability. We are providing millions of residents and businesses, including vital infrastructure such as airports, train terminals, hospitals, and industrial parks, with heating and cooling from local resource at stable long-term prices without fuel price risk. Sustainability and innovation. Our heating and cooling solutions are 100% sustainable, with our commitment to resource first, ensuring that the geothermal utilization is fully sustainable by applying reinjection technology and smart monitoring of each of our 930 heat centrals. We work relentlessly to improve and innovate through our Knowledge Center in Iceland, through our R&D Center in China in cooperation with Sinopec, and in our engineering services in Hungary. Viability and profitability. Our purpose is to provide heating and cooling solution to transform polluting cities to clean, healthy, living, breathing cities. In 2014, we concluded the transformation of Zhongshan in China with population of 390,000 to a living, breathing city by replacing fully the coal-fired heating with clean geothermal heating. We now have multiple examples of the same, where people are now enjoying clean air and healthier life. The economic benefits to the society are substantial, and our business is also profitable, which creates the right incentives for us to invest more and push the energy transition forward. Despite all the good intentions by us, everyone in this room, and many more, geothermal is still only a minor contributor in the energy transition globally, and geothermal capacity growth has in general been dismal, with few notable exceptions. In recent years, annual growth in geothermal capacity is about 3.5% for power and about 9% for heating and cooling. In comparison, lower cost and economies of scale have allowed total renewable capacity additions to grow at a much faster pace. Last year, renewable capacity surged 50%, reaching 510 gigawatts, the fastest growth in 22 years. Last year was also a significant year for global investments in low-carbon energy transition that increased by 17% in 2023. This is very good news. However, the unfortunate reality is that the record investments in low-carbon energy transition are overshadowed by record fossil fuel subsidies, which amounted to $7 trillion in 2022, or over 7% of world GDP. Subsidies for fossil fuels are 5 times higher than the total investment in the renewable energy transition. At COP28 in December last year, positive steps were taken with a pledge from 123 countries to tripling renewable energy by 2030 and doubling of energy efficiency. The International Geothermal Association has translated these overarching objectives to specific tripling up objectives for geothermal capacity in power and in heating and cooling. The pledge is a strong achievement, and the outcome will rely on multiple factors, many of which that are governed by regulators and policymakers. I believe that the future of geothermal energy will be determined by the interplay of cooperation and competition within the sector. The current impact of geothermal in the total renewable energy mix of approximately 0.5% is not an indicator of its vast potential. We are strong believers in partnerships, and that only through cooperation between countries, between the public and the private sector, between companies, between engineers and urban planners, between businesses and academia, through clusters of expertise, and by building awareness among the public and policymakers, will we see the full potential of geothermal as a key baseload backbone in the renewable energy mix. By simplifying regulatory frameworks, including licenses processes and price control mechanisms, and by curbing fossil fuel subsidies, the forces of competition in geothermal utilization will become stronger, and the incentives will be there to invest in the most efficient capacity at the most economical prices for the consumers, while at the same time ensuring responsible and sustainable utilization of resources, energy security, and price stability. Arctic Green will continue to build on its successful partnership in China, with growth focus on the market for heating and cooling, utilizing medium to deep and shallow geothermal as a backbone for integrated multi-energy solutions. We are also selectively building our project portfolio outside China in markets that meet our criteria and where we can build on effective partnerships to create robust business models with prime focus on heating, cooling, and other direct applications for geothermal and integrated multi-energy solutions. We will develop scalable platforms, leveraging technology and innovation to identify and evaluate opportunities, transforming them into clean and sustainable projects. Cities are our key customers. They use 2/3 of the world's energy, and cities will continue to grow and densify. The need for heating and cooling for cities is on a high growth trajectory. And if the geothermal industry wants to play a meaningful role in the energy transition, it must be able to provide solutions that work in densely populated cities. We started in smaller cities, which was a sensible approach at that time, but are now moving into bigger cities. Currently, the largest city where we are operating is Tianjin in China, with a population of 14.5 million and population density of 1,300 people per square kilometer. We are seeing dedicated geothermal cooling emerge as a growth sprout now, and the market demand will catapult this branch of utilization rapidly forward as maturity and know-how starts to grow. Production of clean drinking water with geothermal desalination is another pressing need in the world today that the geothermal energy can impact on a massive scale. A few demonstrations of how this can be accomplished have emerged, and even in this conference, we saw how innovative methods for geothermal desalination are still emerging. We have high expectations for our cooperation in the Middle East to develop methods in this field. Protein production methods are rapidly evolving in the world as the pressure on food production grows. Moderate heat from geothermal resources can play a crucial role in ramping up food production capacity for the future. We are looking for partners in all areas of geothermal development and technology. We are already cooperating with many of you in this room, and we hope we can continue this exciting journey with as many of you as possible. Dear guests, the challenges are there, but so are the solutions. From attending the Iceland Geothermal conferences, listening to the brightest minds in geothermal, hearing the commitments expressed by policymakers, and learning about the plans of cities, regions, states, countries to take significant energy transition steps, right now, we have reasons to be optimistic for the geothermal industry. Let's collaborate to drive the energy transition through geothermal solutions. Thank you.